Hello to all my English learners and welcome. I'm really glad you're here with me today. Whether you're tuning in while you're out for a walk, driving, busy cooking, or just taking a moment to relax, I truly appreciate you joining this podcast. It means a great deal to me, and I'm excited to support you on your journey to learning English. In today's episode, we're diving into a common challenge for many English learners: understanding native speakers. I know it can be tricky, especially when native speakers talk very fast, use slang, or have ways of speaking that can be a bit confusing. You might be wondering, why do I find it so hard to understand English speakers? Or how can I possibly keep up with their conversations? Please don't worry, my friend, you're definitely not the only one. Many learners share this feeling. But here's the uplifting news. You absolutely can enhance your ability to understand native speakers. In this episode, I'm going to guide you step by step. We'll explore everything in detail, and I'll share some effective tips to make understanding native speakers easier and help you feel more confident in your English listening abilities. So let's get started. First off, let's discuss why it can be difficult to understand native speakers. You might assume that knowing vocabulary and grammar rules is all it takes, but that's not the complete picture. Grasping spoken English, particularly from native speakers, is a different ball game due to elements like speed, various accents, slang, and the way words connect in speech. If these terms sound a bit perplexing right now, don't fret, we're going to cover all of them. Why is it such a hurdle to understand native speakers? Have you ever been in a conversation with a native English speaker and felt completely adrift? Perhaps you caught a word or two, but the rest just seemed like a jumble. This is a very typical experience for those learning English, and it occurs for several reasons. Firstly, native speakers often speak at a quick pace and don't always enunciate every word with perfect clarity. They might merge words, omit sounds, or use contractions like I'm for I am, which can make comprehension challenging. For instance, when native speakers say gonna instead of going to, or wanna for want to, it sounds quite different from what you might have encountered in textbooks or during your lessons. Secondly, accents and regional dialects can add another layer of difficulty to understanding different English speakers. English is spoken globally, and each region has its distinct way of speaking. Whether it's an American, British, Australian, or any other accent, each possesses its own unique sounds, pronunciation patterns, and rhythm. When you're listening to someone with an accent that's unfamiliar, it can almost feel like they're speaking a completely different language, even though it's still English. Another reason understanding native speakers can be tough is their frequent use of slang and informal language. Slang words and phrases are very common in everyday chats, but aren't usually covered in traditional English classes. For example, if someone casually asks, "What's up?" they aren't actually inquiring about your opinion on the weather. They're simply greeting you with a hello or how are you. Understanding these everyday expressions is crucial if you want to follow along with native speakers. Lastly, there's a phenomenon known as connected speech. This happens when words are spoken so closely together that it becomes hard to tell them apart. For instance, when a native speaker says, "I'm going to go," the words flow together and might sound more like "I'm gonna go," rather than each word being pronounced distinctly. If you're not accustomed to this, it can make listening to fast speech quite challenging. But don't be disheartened. All these aspects are normal. Native speakers don't always speak flawlessly, and with a bit of practice, you'll find yourself understanding them more clearly. It does take time, but it's entirely achievable. And in today's session, we're going to explore some practical tips and techniques to help you improve. Tip 1. Listen to real conversations. One of the most effective ways to get better at understanding native speakers is to immerse yourself in real conversations. This means listening to people speaking naturally, not just to slow or scripted recordings. Why is this important? Because native speakers don't sound like textbook audio. They speak rapidly, use slang, and link their words in ways that might be new to you. So how can you do this? Begin by listening to podcasts or watching YouTube videos in English. Pick topics that genuinely interest you, whether it's sports, cooking, or anything else. The more you expose yourself to natural conversations, the better you'll become at understanding how native speakers actually talk. Here's a helpful piece of advice: try not to get too hung up on understanding every single word. Instead, aim to grasp the general meaning or gist of the conversation. The objective is to get accustomed to the speed and rhythm of natural speech. If you miss a word, that's perfectly fine. Just keep listening and try to catch the main idea. Also, don't hesitate to rewind and listen again. It's completely normal to need to hear something multiple times. Over time, your brain will adapt to the sounds and patterns of spoken English, and you'll start understanding more and more. Tip 2. Pay attention to accents. As mentioned earlier, English has a multitude of accents, each with its unique pronunciation and rhythm. The way someone speaks in London is different from how someone speaks in New York or Sydney. If you find a particular accent challenging, it's important to practice specifically with that accent. If you anticipate interacting with people from a certain region, like the United States or the UK, try to focus your listening practice on that accent. For example, you could watch TV shows or movies featuring characters from that region, or listen to podcasts with speakers from that area. The more exposure you get to a specific accent, the easier it will become to understand. And remember, don't feel discouraged if you don't understand everything immediately. It takes time, and the more you practice, the more natural it will become. Tip 3. Focus on the keywords. When native speakers talk, they often speak quickly, but don't worry if you miss a few words here and there. The key to comprehension is to concentrate on the important words in a sentence. Native speakers frequently omit small words like is, are, or the ye, or they might shorten them in casual conversation. While these small words are vital for grammar, they don't always significantly alter the overall meaning of what's being said. Instead of stressing over every single word, try to focus on the key words that carry the main meaning. These are usually nouns, names of things or people, verbs, action words, and adjectives, describing words. For example, if someone says, "I'm going to the store to buy some groceries," you don't need to catch to or some, just focus on store, buy, and groceries. This will help you get the main idea. You can practice this by listening to a conversation and trying to pick out the most crucial words. Then, try to summarize the conversation in your own words. This technique will help improve your understanding of native speakers, especially when they speak fast or use unfamiliar vocabulary. Tip 4. Use subtitles. If you're watching movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos, using subtitles can significantly help you understand what's being said. Subtitles are particularly useful because they allow you to see the words as you hear them, which helps you connect spoken words with their written form. This is an excellent way to enhance both your listening and reading skills. Here's a smart strategy. If you need extra support, start with subtitles in your native language. Once you feel more comfortable, switch to English subtitles. This will enable you to see the exact words being spoken in English and help you get used to how words are pronounced. Eventually, you can challenge yourself by watching without any subtitles at all. This will help you concentrate more on listening and understanding the spoken words without visual aids. One important thing to remember is that not all subtitles are perfect. Sometimes they don't exactly match what the speakers are saying, especially with slang or informal language. But don't worry, just keep listening and use the subtitles as a guide, not a crutch. Over time, you'll find yourself understanding more without needing them. Tip 5. Break the speech into chunks. When you're listening to a native speaker, it can feel overwhelming because they often speak in long, continuous sentences. However, the reality is that native speakers tend to naturally break their speech into smaller segments or chunks. This is especially true in conversations where speakers often pause between ideas or phrases. To improve your understanding, practice breaking down the speech into these chunks as you listen. When you hear a sentence, try to identify the natural pauses. For example, listen to a sentence like, "I went to the store, and then I saw my friend, and we decided to grab some coffee." There are clear breaks after "I went to the store, I saw my friend, and we decided to grab some coffee." These are natural pauses in speech that can make it easier for you to process the information. You can practice by listening to a short conversation and pausing it after each chunk. Try to understand the meaning of each part before moving on to the next. This will help you process information in smaller, more manageable pieces, making it easier to understand fast speech. Tip 6. Shadowing. Now, let's talk about a technique called shadowing. Shadowing involves listening to a native speaker and then immediately repeating what they say, trying to match their speed, rhythm, and pronunciation as closely as possible. It's like you're their echo, copying every word. This is a powerful technique because it trains both your ears and your mouth. By listening to and repeating sentences, you'll become more familiar with how native speakers actually sound. You'll also improve your own pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation, all of which are crucial for understanding spoken English. To start shadowing, choose a short video or audio clip that features natural speech. Listen to a sentence or two, then pause the audio and repeat exactly what you heard. Try to mimic the way the speaker says each word, paying close attention to their tone and how they stress certain words. This will help you sound more natural and make it easier to understand other speakers who talk in a similar way. Don't worry if you can't keep up at first. Shadowing takes practice, and it's okay if you don't get everything right immediately. Keep practicing, and over time, your understanding of native speakers will improve significantly. Tip 7. Practice listening to different accents. As I mentioned earlier, accents can make it more challenging for speakers. However, this doesn't mean you should avoid them. In fact, the more you expose yourself to different accents, the better you'll become at understanding a wider variety of English speakers. Start by listening to a range of accents from different regions or countries. You could listen to British, American, Australian, or even African English accents. Each accent has its own unique sounds and ways of pronouncing words. By practicing with different accents, you'll train your brain to recognize and understand English in its various forms. If you're unsure where to begin, try watching TV shows or movies from different English-speaking countries. For example, watch a British movie, then an American one, then an Australian one. Listen carefully to how the characters speak and try to notice any differences in their pronunciation. Over time, you'll find it easier to understand people from different parts of the world. Tip 8. Slow down the speed. If you're struggling to keep up with the pace of native speakers, there's no harm in slowing things down a bit. Many podcasts, YouTube videos, and audiobooks offer features that allow you to adjust the playback speed of the audio. Start by listening to content at a slower speed, and as you become more comfortable, gradually increase the speed. By slowing things down, you'll be able to catch more words and understand the speaker's tone and rhythm more clearly. Once you feel confident at a slower pace, challenge yourself by increasing the speed just a little at a time. This gradual process will help you build up your ability to keep up with faster native speakers in the future. Tip 9. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. Finally, always remember that it's perfectly okay to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. Native speakers are usually very understanding and will be happy to repeat what they said or explain it in a different way. Don't feel embarrassed if you don't understand. Everyone has been in that situation. If you're in a conversation and you didn't catch something, just say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "I didn't quite understand, could you explain it differently?" Most people will appreciate that you're making an effort to improve your English and will be glad to help. Tip 10. Use context clues. One of the best ways to understand native speakers is to use context clues. When you're listening, the situation, the topic of conversation, and even the speaker's body language can give you a lot of information about what's being said. Sometimes, if you don't understand a specific word or phrase, try to figure it out based on the overall meaning of the conversation. For example, if you're in a conversation about food and someone says something like, "I'm going to grab a bite," even if you're not sure about the exact meaning of grab a bite, you can probably guess from the context that they're talking about getting something to eat. Context clues are the little hints within the conversation that help you fill in the gaps when you don't understand every single word. This technique works in many situations, not just with topics like food or daily life. For instance, if you're listening to a story and someone says the car broke down and we had to call for a tow, you can infer that tow means getting help to move the car to a repair shop, even if you don't know the exact definition of the word. Over time, your brain will become better at picking up on these clues, and it will make understanding native speakers much easier. Tip 11. Be patient with yourself. It's crucial to be patient with yourself when it comes to understanding native speakers. Language learning is a journey, and it takes time to adjust to different speeds, accents, and speech patterns. It's completely normal to feel like you're not understanding everything right away, but don't let that discourage you. Remember, fluency doesn't happen overnight. Every time you listen to a native speaker, you're making progress, even if you don't immediately realize it. The key is to keep practicing and to keep challenging yourself. Over time, your brain will start to recognize the sounds and structures of spoken English, and it will become easier to understand. If you ever feel frustrated, Take a break and remind yourself of how far you've already come. It's not about achieving perfection, it's about making progress. Celebrate the small victories, like understanding a sentence you couldn't before, or catching a word that used to be unclear. These moments add up, and before you know it, you'll be much more comfortable understanding native speakers. Tip 12. Practice with listening comprehension exercises. If you're looking for a structured way to improve your listening skills, listening comprehension exercises are a fantastic tool. Many language learning apps, websites, and books offer exercises where you listen to a recording and then answer questions based on what you heard. These exercises are designed to help you practice understanding different types of spoken English, from casual conversations to lectures and news broadcasts. They help you focus on listening for specific information, which can be very useful in real-life conversations as well. You can find a variety of listening comprehension exercises at different difficulty levels, so start with something that matches your current abilities and gradually increase the difficulty as you improve. These exercises will not only improve your ability to understand native speakers but will also help you learn to listen for details, which is important for effective real-world communication. Tip 13. Improve your vocabulary. The more words you know, the easier it will be to understand native speakers. If you're only familiar with basic vocabulary, it can be challenging to keep up with fast-paced conversations, especially when native speakers use idiomatic expressions or slang. One way to improve your vocabulary is to learn new words every day. Make a list of words that you encounter while listening to podcasts, watching TV shows, or reading, and then look up their meanings. Focus on learning words that are commonly used in everyday conversations. Over time, you'll notice that you're able to recognize more words and phrases when native speakers use them. Another effective way to boost your vocabulary is by learning collocations, which are groups of words that frequently go together. For example, instead of just learning the word make, learn common phrases like make a decision, make a mistake, or make an effort. This will help you understand how words naturally fit together in real conversations. Tip 14. Get comfortable with idiomatic expressions. Native speakers often use idiomatic expressions in casual conversations, and these expressions can be confusing if you're not familiar with them. An idiom is a phrase whose meaning is different from the literal meaning of the individual words. For example, it's raining cats and dogs doesn't mean animals are falling from the sky, it means it's raining very heavily. While it might be hard to understand idiomatic expressions at first, they are an important part of natural speech. To get comfortable with them, start by learning some of the most common idioms. You can do this by listening to conversations and paying attention to expressions that you don't understand. Look them up and practice using them in your own speech. Over time, you'll find that you start recognizing idioms more easily, and your ability to understand native speakers will improve. Tip 15. Practice active listening. It's important to practice active listening. Active listening means that you're fully engaged and focused on the speaker, rather than just passively hearing the words. When you listen actively, you pay attention to the speaker's tone, body language, and the context of the conversation, which will help you understand the meaning more clearly. You can practice active listening by trying to repeat what the speaker says in your own words. This is called paraphrasing, and it's a great way to check your understanding. If you can accurately rephrase what you've heard, it means you've understood the message. Active listening also means that you don't interrupt the speaker. Let them finish their thought before responding. This will help you catch all the details and make it easier to understand the full message. Tip 16. Join conversation groups. One of the best ways to improve both your listening and speaking skills is by joining conversation groups. These groups are a fantastic way to practice real-world conversations with other learners or even with native speakers. You can find these groups online or in person, depending on where you live. Many apps, websites, and social media platforms host online conversation groups where you can practice English with people from all over the world. The great thing about these groups is that they give you a chance to practice listening to different accents and speaking in a relaxed, non-judgmental environment. Plus, you'll get feedback from other people, which can help you improve your listening and speaking abilities. When you participate in conversation groups, try to focus not only on speaking, but also on listening actively. Make sure you understand what. This will help you become more comfortable with the speed of real conversations and improve your ability to understand native speakers. Tip 17. Focus on stress and intonation. In English, the stress and intonation of a sentence can change its meaning. Stress refers to which syllables or words are emphasized in a sentence, and intonation refers to the rise and fall of the voice while speaking. These are important aspects of spoken English, and they can sometimes make it tricky to understand what's being said. For example, if someone says, "I didn't say you stole my book," the meaning can change depending on which word is stressed. If you say, "I didn't say you stole my book," it implies someone else might have. But if you say, "I didn't say you stole my book," it means you didn't actually speak those words. To improve your understanding of stress and intonation, try listening to native speakers and paying attention to which words they emphasize in each sentence. Notice how the pitch of their voice rises and falls. You can also practice repeating sentences, copying their stress and intonation. This will help you understand the natural rhythm of spoken English and improve your ability to follow conversations. Tip 18. Use transcripts and listen again. Sometimes it's helpful to use transcripts to assist your understanding of native speakers. Many podcasts, YouTube videos, and audio resources provide transcripts that show the exact words being spoken. You can use these transcripts to follow along while you listen. Here's a great practice method. First, listen to the conversation or audio without the transcript, trying to catch as much as you can. After listening, check the transcript to see what you might have missed. Then, listen again while reading along with the transcript. This will help you connect the sounds you're hearing with the words you see, making it easier to understand spoken English in the future. Once you get more comfortable with this, try listening to the conversation again without the transcript and see how much more you can understand. Over time, you'll notice that you rely less on the transcript and understand more from just listening. Tip 19. Learn to recognize fillers. Native speakers often use filler words in their conversations. These are words or sounds like you know, and like, which don't add much meaning but are used to fill pauses or give the speaker time to think. At first, these fillers can be distracting or confusing because they might make the conversation sound less clear. However, don't worry. Fillers are a normal part of everyday speech and are often used to keep the conversation flowing. Recognizing them will help you focus more on the important parts of what's being said. The key is not to get too sidetracked by fillers. Instead, concentrate on the main points the speaker is trying to make. Once you start recognizing fillers, you'll be able to mentally filter them out and focus on the actual content of the conversation. Tip 20. Watch TED Talks and other educational videos. If you're looking for high-quality, clear English speech, TED Talks are an excellent resource. TED Talks feature speakers from all over the world discussing interesting and thought-provoking topics. The speakers in TED Talks tend to speak clearly and at a moderate pace, which makes it easier for English learners to follow along. You can start by watching TED Talks with English subtitles, just like with movies and TV shows. After you feel comfortable, challenge yourself to watch without subtitles to further improve your listening skills. TED Talks also offer transcripts for most videos, so you can follow along and learn new vocabulary. The topics covered are often engaging and informative, exposing you to a wide range of vocabulary. By watching TED Talks regularly, you can improve both your listening skills and your ability to understand complex ideas in English. Tip 21. Focus on practical vocabulary. When you're trying to understand native speakers, it helps to focus on practical vocabulary that's used in everyday conversations. While it's great to learn advanced vocabulary, you'll find that native speakers use common words and phrases in their daily lives. By concentrating on these practical words, you'll be able to understand more of what's being said in real conversations. Start by learning vocabulary related to daily activities such as food, travel, work, hobbies, and shopping. Practice using these words in sentences so you can recognize them when native speakers use them. This will help you feel more comfortable in everyday conversations and make it easier to understand what others are saying. Tip 22. Listen to different types of audio. To improve your understanding of native speakers, it's a good idea to listen to various types of audio. You can listen to news broadcasts, interviews, podcasts, radio shows, and even YouTube videos. Each of these audio types will expose you to different speaking styles and vocabulary, which will help you become more versatile in your listening. For example, news broadcasts tend to use more formal language, while podcasts or YouTube videos might be more casual and conversational. By listening to a variety of sources, you'll get a more well-rounded understanding of how native speakers communicate in different contexts. Tip 23. Keep a listening journal. One helpful tip for improving your listening skills is to keep a listening journal. In this journal, write down new words, phrases, and expressions that you hear while listening to native speakers. You can also make notes about the context in which they were used and how the speaker said them. By keeping track of the words and phrases that are most difficult for you to understand, you'll be able to focus on learning them. You can even try using these words in your own speech to practice and reinforce what you've learned. This will help you build your vocabulary and improve your ability to understand native speakers over time. Tip 24. Use technology and apps to improve your listening skills. In today's world, there's an amazing variety of apps and technology available that can help you enhance your English listening skills. These tools can provide you with opportunities to practice listening anytime, anywhere, making it easier to fit practice into your busy life. Some of the best apps for improving listening skills include language learning apps like Duolingo, Babbel, and Memrise, which focus on building your vocabulary and listening comprehension. These apps often feature audio clips and quizzes to test your understanding of spoken English. Another great option is Anki, a flashcard app that can help you memorize new words and phrases you hear in conversations or while watching videos. But it's not just language apps that can help. There are many podcast apps, like Apple Podcasts, that offer a wide range of English content at different levels. Whether you prefer listening to news stories, interviews, or podcasts about specific topics like science or business, these apps give you endless opportunities to practice listening to native speakers. For more immersive practice, there are also apps designed specifically for listening to English conversations, like HelloTalk and Tandem. These apps connect you with native speakers who can help you practice listening and speaking in real conversations. It's like having a language partner wherever you go. The great thing about using technology is that it makes learning interactive and personalized. You can adjust the speed of the audio, repeat difficult sections, or even slow down the conversation to make sure you catch every word. It's an excellent way to track your progress and practice at your own pace. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today on the English Fluency Teacher channel. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode and, more importantly, found the tips useful as you work on mastering your listening skills. Remember, understanding native speakers doesn't have to feel out of reach. It's all about practicing consistently and giving yourself the patience and kindness you deserve as you grow. Every step, no matter how small it seems, is a step forward. Celebrate your progress every chance you get, because each effort brings you closer to fluency. To quickly recap, today we covered why native speakers can sometimes be challenging to understand and shared practical steps to make it easier for you. From listening to real conversations and shadowing to breaking speech into chunks and learning to identify accents, we've explored tools that can set you up for success. Don't forget, practice really is the key. The more you work these strategies into your routine, the more natural and confident you'll begin to feel. Now it's your turn to take what you've learned today and put it into action. Try rewinding that favorite scene from a TV show to listen for connected speech, or spend a few minutes shadowing a clip you love. Every bit you practice makes a difference, and consistency is your best ally. If you found this episode helpful, I'd love it if you could share it with someone else who's learning English. Supporting each other makes the language learning process even more rewarding and fun. After all, we're stronger when we learn together. And don't be shy about reaching out. I'd really love to hear from you. Which tips are you most excited to try? Or do you have your own strategies for improving listening skills that you'd like to share? Whether it's a message, a comment, or even a social media post, feel free to connect with me and share your thoughts. If you tag me, I'll be sure to cheer you on and celebrate your progress. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the English Fluency Teacher channel so you won't miss out on any new episodes. Next time, we'll be tackling another engaging topic that's sure to help you improve your English speaking skills and build even more confidence. I'm here cheering you on every step of the way, and I can't wait to continue this learning journey together. Thank you again for being here with me and investing in your English skills. I'm so proud of the effort you're putting in and all the progress you're making. Believe in yourself and enjoy the process because you're doing great. Until next time, keep practicing, stay patient, and remember, you've got this. Take care, my friend, and I'll see you in the next one.